August 29, 2024. Memorial of the Passion of Saint John the Baptist. A reading from the prophet Jeremiah. In those days, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Dress yourself for work, arise, and say to them everything that I command you. Do not be dismayed by them, lest I dismay you before them. And I, behold, I make you this day a fortified city, an iron pillar, and bronze walls, against the whole land, against the kings of Judah, its officials, its priests, and the people of the land. They will fight against you, but they shall not prevail against you, for I am with you, declares the Lord, to deliver you. The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm. Response: My mouth will tell of your salvation, Lord. In you, O Lord, I take refuge. Let me never be put to shame. In your justice, rescue me, free me. Incline your ear to me and save me. My mouth will tell of your salvation, Lord. Be my rock, my constant refuge. A mighty stronghold to save me. For you are my rock, my stronghold. My God, free me from the hand of the wicked. My mouth will tell of your salvation, Lord. It is you, O Lord, who are my hope. My trust, O Lord, from my youth. On you I have leaned from my birth. From my mother's womb, you have been my help. My mouth will tell of your salvation, Lord. My mouth will tell of your justice. And all the day long of your salvation. O God, you have taught me from my youth. And I proclaim your wonders still. My mouth will tell of your salvation, Lord. Alleluia, Alleluia. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Alleluia. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Saint Mark. At that time, Herod sent and seized John and bound him in prison for the sake of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because he had married her. For John had been saying to Herod, It is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife. And Herodias had a grudge against him and wanted to put him to death. But she could not, for Herod feared John, knowing that he was a righteous and holy man, and he kept him safe. When he heard him, he was greatly perplexed, and yet he heard him gladly. But an opportunity came when Herod on his birthday gave a banquet for his nobles and military commanders and the leading men of Galilee. For when Herodias' daughter came in and danced, she pleased Herod and his guests. And the king said to the girl, Ask me for whatever you wish, and I will give it to you. And he vowed to her, Whatever you ask me, I will give you, up to half of my kingdom. And she went out and said to her mother, For what should I ask? And she said, The head of John the Baptist. And she came in immediately with haste to the king and asked, saying, I want you to give me at once the head of John the Baptist on a platter. And the king was exceedingly sorry, but because of his oaths and his guests he did not want to break his word to her. And immediately the king sent an executioner with orders to bring John's head. He went and beheaded him in the prison and brought his head on a platter and gave it to the girl, and the girl gave it to her mother. When his disciples heard of it, they came and took his body and laid it in a tomb. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflection. Passion of Saint John the Baptist. It is said of Herod in today's Gospel reading that he knew John the Baptist to be a good and holy man. That is a good description of what we call a saint, a good and holy person. Towards the end of June we celebrated the birth of this good and holy man. Today, we remember his death. In spite of the fact that according to our Gospel reading Herod knew John to be good and holy and wanted to protect him, he had him beheaded. Having made a rash promise in public to his wife's daughter from a previous marriage, he felt honor-bound to keep his promise. Instead of protecting John the Baptist, he gave priority to protecting his own honor, even though this meant executing someone whom he knew to be good and holy. Herod betrayed his best self, his deepest self. In contrast to Herod, John was faithful and true to what was deepest and best in himself, even though that meant incurring the anger of the powerful. John was faithful to the call of the Lord, even unto death. Herod heard the call of the Lord through John's preaching, the Gospel reading says that Herod liked to listen to John. Yet Herod was not faithful to that call. He ended up responding to a different, more superficial call, the call to protect himself, his reputation, his honor. Herod's dilemma is that of every human being, of every believer. The Lord calls from deep within us, we hear that call but we don't always respond to it. We can end up responding to other calls that can be in conflict with the Lord's call. John is an inspiration and an encouragement to us to keep responding generously and courageously to that deeper call in our lives, the Lord's call that sounds from deep with us. It is in responding to that call that we will find life, both here and now and in eternity.